Yo, Bracy Skills Clinic's back with another video. Once again, I got this AC on, man. It's another hot day. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna jump right into the video, man. Today's video is gonna be about. It's for the youth. Okay, it's for the youth, and it can be basketball related. It could be related to different things, but basically, communication is everything. Communication is everything. Communication is very important when you're trying to get to where you're trying to get to. And what I mean by that is when you're on a basketball team, the coaches are going to expect a certain level of communication from you as the player. Okay? When you're older, we're talking I'm going to say high school and older, it's less parents involved. Now, there are still parents that are involved in their child's activities, even in college, some even in pro. We're looking at Ja Morant's fathers sitting front row. Like, I'm not saying that parents stop supporting you once you get to high school, but there's definitely less support than it is when you were in middle school or elementary school, that type of stuff. So as a coach, as a high school coach or a college coach, they're when they send updates for things, they're expecting you to respond. Like with Team Rampage, right? From 15U to 17U, I don't really tell parents stuff. And I do that on purpose. You know why? Because I want these kids to grow up and be more responsible young men. Okay? Starting in 9th grade, we're not texting mommy and daddy no more. Like I do it in middle school. But when you're a freshman in high school, I don't text mommy and daddy about practice no more. Now, if they ask me, I'll tell them, of course. But the message is going to get sent to the chat that the kids are in. And not just practice or training, but even fundraisers, game times, practice times, those type of things get passed on in player chats first. And it is expected of the player to relay the message to whoever needs the message, whether it's the parent or it's the brother or uncle that needs to drop you off, whatever. It's the player's job to relay that message to who it needs to get relayed to. Kids, when you don't show, even at an early age, when you don't show a level of proper, responsible communication, I don't care how good you are. That is a huge red flag from college coaches. Okay? Sooner or later, I'm going to start getting other people on my channel and start doing like little interviews with college coaches so they know that I'm not just talking in the car, ranting out. Like I know what I'm talking about. When you don't communicate properly, that is the biggest red flag a college coach can have of you, even if you have grades and can play. Because what that shows is a lack of responsibility. No coach wants to coach a kid that isn't responsible. When you don't communicate properly, you're being irresponsible because it is your duty and job to keep up with certain conversations within the chat on your team so that you can stay updated and so that things can get done as a team. There are certain tasks that needs to be done, whether it's fundraising or whatever. When you don't communicate, or if you are in the chat and you know you can't make a practice or you know you can't make a tournament or a game and you don't tell the coach till last minute, that is very, very irresponsible. Very, very irresponsible. Okay? And I think a lot of these kids, and today I'm not speaking just to my Rampage kids. I'm not speaking just to my Rampage kids. I'm speaking to all kids. How you communicate is the first thing that a coach honestly is going to see. That's the first interaction for your recruiting process is your communication. Yeah, they can see the game, they can see you play, they can see your highlights and all that, but dialogue starts with the mouth, the verbiage, the communication, the dialogue to continue the recruiting process and allow you to earn a scholarship or be on a coach's radar is through communication. When you don't do that properly or responsibly, you get crossed off the list even if you can play, even if you got grades. There are people that got good grades, can play, and get crossed off because they don't communicate properly. or communicate responsibly. Respond properly could mean just the lack of the English language. Calling the coach bro or bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. That's not communicating properly. Communicating irresponsibly is a coach texts you and you don't respond to 2 days later. That's very irresponsible. A coach texts you in the morning and you don't really have no real explanation on why you didn't get back to his message until that night. That's communicating irresponsible. Both can get you crossed off the recruiting list. Kids got to understand it's bigger than basketball, bro. It's a lot of stuff that goes into recruiting, and I watch kids make several mistakes with communication. So the message of this video for today is communication is everything, and lack of communication can hurt your recruiting. It can hurt it. It can seriously hurt it. And if you are super irresponsible as a communicator or communicate super poorly as a communicator, that message gets passed around. Hey, so-and-so don't, I mean, I tried to reach him, but so-and-so don't really respond to my messages like that. Or, man, so-and-so just, man, he just talks rude, man. He just doesn't know how to communicate properly. I don't know if he's a good fit to represent our campus. You guys got to understand how to communicate. You got to communicate the right way. This is where education comes in. I know education isn't everything. I will be the first to agree with you guys on that. But this particular part, the communication part, education is extremely important. Knowing how to talk to somebody, knowing how to respond and respond properly, even if you can't get to the message right away, knowing how to be firm with that person. Say, coach, my apologies. My phone's been dead all day. I couldn't get to a charger. I really apologize. I'll definitely do better next time, but X, Y, Z. That's communicating properly, because things do happen. Things do happen, but it's about how you respond. If coach says, how's it going? And you don't respond for 2 days because your phone was dead, and then 2 days later you respond to the coach and say, oh, things are good. For one, you're not going to elaborate on why things are good. Two, you didn't tell me why you didn't respond 2 days ago. What's going on? Guys got to work on your communication. I don't care. I don't want to hear the excuses. Oh, I'm not really a texting person. Man, that's cap. I don't care what nobody say. That's cap. It's about getting your message across. Everybody knows, unless you have a physical disadvantage, everybody knows why they don't communicate properly. So that physical advantage of, you know, I have finger issues or my hand is broke. Okay, obviously you're not gonna send a text message. But if that's not the case, I don't want to hear nothing. I be hating when people say, oh, I'm not really a texter. No, you're lazy. You're lazy. That's what it is, man. You're lazy. What do you mean you're not a texter? If you know how a text message work and you can type a button and push a button, what do you mean you're not a texter? It's about getting the message across. You mean I'm not a texter? Whatever message, or call if you're not a texter, call the person. But all that, I'm not really a texting person, man. Coaches ain't gonna want to hear that, fam. I'm sorry. Coaches is not going to. You better learn to be a texter. You know, so that's the video today, man. I see a lot of kids struggling with, you know, proper communication or responsible communication, man. And I just would hate to see a kid get crossed off over something that is so simple. So hopefully people improve with that. But that's the video today. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We out.